This is Box and Tickets NI in association with Violent Gentlemen. We're glad to say we're joined with the Lewis Crocker.
What's happening, buddy?
How are you, mate?
All good, mate, all good.
We've been sort of planning this for sort of quite a while,
Yeah.
but obviously finally getting there. Obviously yourself, you're not big into interviews and you like just to go under the grain sometimes, so it's finally glad to get you sat down and have a chat.
Yeah, feels good, mate, to get it done, sorted, so looking forward to it.
Definitely is. So you're actually now 4 years a pro fighter. Where does time go?
4 years, I didn't even realise that. It flew in like so it has, hasn't it? 13 fights already, like so. Yeah, everything's going good so far.
Definitely, as I say, 13 fights, 7 KOs. You started off, as a house on fire, you were getting KO after KO. And I think sometimes it probably might annoy you because people just go on Lewis Crocker knockout power, Lewis Crocker knockout power, but there's more to you. So I think you won five straight fights, KOs.
I think it was 6.
6? There we go, you correct me, so 6. But obviously your debut, you fought 4 times, everything's flying, happy days. Obviously starting off wasn't probably so easy for you, you cancelled fight, Guitterez card, but there's actually a really great story behind that. So the Guitterez card's obviously cancelled, slips in the shower. Lewis, obviously when there's no fight, you obviously decided to have a drink, and tell us what happened next.
So me and my mate had a couple of drinks, went in town basically, and then went back to his house, and I fell asleep on the sofa and got a call about 5 o'clock in the morning, 6 o'clock, and it's my dad, and he's like, "You got out for a fight?" And I was like, "What?" He says, "You got out for a fight," and then it just beep, my phone died. And I was like, "Yeah, it's not happening," like, so back to sleep, and I just hear my mate comes downstairs, he's like, "Your mate's on the phone here." And I was like, "What?" He says, "Your mate's," and get on the phone, he's like, "Here, you got out for a fight in Birmingham." And I was like, I sort of like got up and like looked in the mirror a wee bit and gave it a few shuttle box, and I was like, "Look, I'll flight." Then rung a taxi and got to the house and felt 100%. Got a coffee into me and I was like, "Oh, let's do it, it's whatever." We got in that plane, as we were very giving at the time, we got in that plane, and my opponent was on the plane as well, and it was a warm day. And I remember just looking out the window and being like, "This is going to be terrible." Like, it was terrible, because it started getting hungover like during the flight and stuff. And I remember just getting there, and I got the hotel room, and I remember sitting down and praying to God, and I was like, "Please get me through this, please get me through this." And I did. I got through it. I knocked him out in about a minute or so, like, so I got the win. And funny story, but I'll know next time to never go on the drink if a fight gets cancelled, but still undefeated anyway.
I know it was your same opponent was supposed to be on the card as well, so it was obviously great that NTK were able to get you on the Birmingham show last minute, but obviously sort of going with a hangover and going, well, if I can do it hungover, what can I do when I'm not hungover,
That's true. I know fair play to NTK for getting me the fight, you know what I mean? I think that goes under the radar a bit, because they got me out the next day, like, in Birmingham, and I think it was the last fight as well, so it was the main event there. So yeah, like, fair play to NTK, and it's an experience that'll stand by me forever, like, you know what I mean? Because I can do something like that, then, like, if I have a stupid injury, or at least if I've been through worse, to say, like.
Yeah, where you're going, and obviously, I would say probably your highlight sort of coming up sort of that stage as well, getting to fight in Windsor Park. What an experience, and you actually fought live in BT Sport as well.
Yeah.
I know obviously the opponent probably didn't let you showcase what you wanted, because obviously William Warburton's, some days there to survive sometimes, but gave you six solid rounds in Windsor Park. What was the experience like for you?
Windsor Park was unbelievable. So it was just, everyone in the boxing community knows William Warburton, when he make people look really bad, and I think it was a mature performance from my behalf, not to look reckless or anything. It was first 6 rounder, first time I ever went the distance as a pro as well. So I think I handled it well, and to do that in front of all them people, to keep my head right and like not lose concentration or anything, I think stands by me, like, for the future as well here. So it'll be better next time there's a Windsor Park Bill.
Definitely is. And obviously, as I say, we're 3 days away from obviously hopefully Carl cementing that Windsor Park show again, and I know if Windsor Park comes again, there's no doubt you'll be on that card. Because you've built yourself, you've more than doubled your fights since then as well. So
true, like,
and you're getting yourself in good position. So it's everybody's sort of in tenterhooks going, please win. Not just from cementing history, but also to get another Windsor Park card, because it's 25,000 in Windsor Park. We're near in the corner from your house as well too, so it was nice and handy as well.
Yeah, mate, even if like thinking about it now, be class. They get another Windsor Park card because the last one was phenomenal. And I'm saying if Cardiff does win this, which I think he will and hope he does, the fight for world title at Windsor Park, like him, would be phenomenal as well. Do you know what I mean? And if I was on the undercard and maybe for a title as well, it'd be class. And yeah, it'd be great for Belfast and Northern Ireland.
And I guess you've been there. You've been on co-main event. Obviously, getting there to go again. Does it then start showing you the potential for you in the future? As obviously you could be headlining the card at Windsor Park as well.
Yeah, well, you know, all I have to do is keep winning and stuff, and who knows what the future holds. You know, I've main evented my last 2 fights, like, so when the fights come back at Belfast, you know, maybe headline shows back here and see where it takes me.
Exactly, it's not looking too far ahead to the future sometimes.
That's it.
I guess you could probably do a Scott Quick ring walk as well. You know, remember his famous one?
The worst ring walk I've ever seen in my life. I wouldn't dare do that.
No, definitely not. I think you could probably get lynched going to Windsor Park, you know. But obviously, to say, you know, 4 years now as a pro, obviously in the lead up to your fight with Lee Green, you obviously mentioned that the WBO belt was for your parents. Obviously, fighting's always been part of the family, but obviously your parents have obviously done enough for you that showed that you had to say, well, this is for you. So, you know, your build up and everything this is for them. So, you know, it goes to show sometimes that you need the support behind you to help and move things on. You know, and probably the 2 biggest fans as well.
Oh yeah, no doubt. You know, if I wouldn't be a boxer, where I'd be on if it wasn't for my parents, like, you know, getting me the boxing clubs amateur and stuff, and went down to Dublin when I needed to, or just even like when I started off pro, like getting medicals sorted. My dad still does all my medical things, do you know what I mean? He's ringing the doctors, he does everything. So he does pack my bags, everything to this day, like, do you know what I mean? So yes, what I do is boxing's always be for my parents, like, you know, and I wouldn't be where I am without them, like, and obviously I started boxing because of my sister, Alannah boxed, yeah, so yeah, it runs in the family, so it does. And
it sort of leads us on. Their next part was obviously what got you involved in boxing, and obviously for anybody who doesn't know, obviously your sister Alannah is quite a talent as well. I think her fight with Katie Taylor was the first women's boxing fight
in Ireland. Yeah. So it's history like that there, isn't it? I was actually talking to her the other day, and I sent her a message like it's hard to believe that you and Katie Taylor were the first ever like women's sanctioned fight. You know, like that'll never change, and women's boxing only going to get better and better. And you just look at the Ireland team now, like women's boxing, like they're phenomenal. Like, you know, they're proper world elite athletes, and to say that you were the first 2 to ever fight, it's class team.
She's definitely getting down history. Obviously, with Katie's talents there as well, and you know, being the face of obviously box for women's boxing in the pro game now, you know, it's always something to look back on the future. And not only obviously your sister is a boxer, but actually your brother-in-law is a pro boxer as well.
Chez, yeah, he's doing very well as well. It's just a bit rubbish with the pandemic, obviously. You know, it's hard getting fights and stuff, but you know, he was ABA champion and stuff, and he's getting better each fight as well. So I'm really looking forward to see what his next fight is, and I could see him definitely win domestic league titles and stuff, and hopefully pushing on European. And
I guess for him as well, obviously it used to be an old throwback. You know, your Nigel Benns and stuff like that. It came through the army ranks to come into boxing. Obviously, your brother-in-law is doing it the same way, where he's been really, really talented boxing, obviously in the army. They then do it professionally as well, so it's nearly a nice throwback as well.
Yeah, it's class, isn't it? It's, when you're saying like that, yeah, that's some achievement. So it is.
It definitely is, and hopefully, fingers crossed, it keeps going that way with you. As I say, you've sort of mentioned there as well, you've now headlined 2 back-to-back cards on MTK shows. Obviously, MTK have been massive and obviously helped in delivering you things at the right time. You know, not that we're obviously unplugging MTK or anything in that way, it's all about yourself, but it obviously must give you real great confidence to know that obviously Jamie and things like that are looking out for the best interest and putting a plan together for you. Definitely,
you know, I feel I'm in a good position now, do you know what I'm saying? Like with MTK and with Jamie, getting the right fights at the right time, and they can see potential in me, and do you know what I mean? So I want to fulfill that potential, what they see in me, and the opportunities they give me, you know, I don't want to let them slip. And MTK are the ones who are putting fights on constantly through the pandemic. You know, every few weeks it was, and look at the fights, like they're all quality. Like the last couple of events have been class, and you had Lee McGregor last week and stuff, and then me, and then there was a card beforehand. So you know, MTK are really short, and like you have to respect that as well, because people don't understand. You don't get paid if you don't fight. Do you know what I mean? And they're getting their own fights. So yeah, you know, fair play to MTK, and I appreciate all the help, obviously.
And they see the difference in obviously 4 years when you first started out and signing with them and things like that, and looking at it now, you're going, what's going on? You know, there's been such a boom because they've built things right, you know, in the right way, and they're putting on regular cards. You know, if obviously we weren't in a pandemic, they'd have at least one card on a month, maybe even 2 or 3, and that's what it's all about.
And they have them everywhere as well, so they do, you know. I was unfortunate I couldn't even fit in Dubai, but I got cancelled in the Birmingham, like, Dubai would have been a good trip. But yeah, just because they show that they're getting fights in Dubai and stuff, and there's Kazakhstan advancing on, you know, they're worldwide, they're global, it's an 80k global, like, so yeah, it's unreal. It's
unbelievable. And I say, funny, I was talking to Tyrone McKenna on Saturday. He was obviously supposed to be headlining that card you run in Dubai, and he's been the lucky one who's got to stay in Dubai as well. The only problem for him is, I guess, is undershadowed so much because of everything else that's going on this week. People forget he's actually fighting.
Yeah, I suppose that's true, like,
So I think he's planning War McKenna. He's just going to make sure he stays in everybody's minds.
I've seen that, even War McKenna. I love him to go out and just be a brawl from the start, like, and then McKenna's so entertaining. I see his promo video the other day, just see it.
Unbelievable,
It's good, like,
very
good.
Good.
Himself, like, very good.
And obviously some of that will probably, you know, he's probably a recorder's dream that they can come up with ideas and stuff like that as well, you know. What would you say your favourite memory of boxing so far is?
Windsor Park, I think, as an amateur. I think that just stands out. And then obviously with my first professional title as a pro. Because my dad was there over in Wakefield with me as well. It was just a special moment, like, you know, it was good because I always wanted a professional title, and when I got one, it's great. And then I remember Windsor Ireland's because my sister won them before, and I thought this is it. No, this is the achievement. Like, so there are two that stick out more than anything. And
obviously plenty more memories to come.
Hopefully.
The rumoured next fight you're going to have, obviously I know Jamie's mentioned this as well, is it obviously have been mentioned by the board of doing a British Eliminator with Anthony Thomason. I know obviously Jamie's mentioned last week that they're hoping we can get crowds back and obviously headline in the Ulster Hall. You know, you've fought in the Ulster Hall a few times now as well, so you know what a venue to sort of bring boxing back. You could be pretty much the first headlining card back in Belfast as well.
It's class, I think, isn't it? Yeah, and hopefully it's not too soon until crowds are back. You know, what is it, June, July? You know, that's not far away, like, so it'd be amazing to have the fans back. You know, I was just watching the boxing there on the weekend, and there was only a couple back, but it makes a difference, so it does, you know, the atmosphere. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to fans getting back, and if I was the headline it, obviously the first show back, it'd be class and another good thing to put in a resume.
Definitely is, and obviously, you know, I know the plans, you know, hopefully to get you the British title shot. I know Chris Jenkins is like injured at the moment, so whether he decides to vacate and move on or whatever, but it's 18 years since we've had a British champion from Belfast. You know, so nearly the length of time you've been on earth. You know, Neil Sinclair, last British welterweight champion.
Thing, yeah, I didn't know that. Yeah, it's good history, that, isn't it? Hopefully, I'll bring it back soon. Definitely
is. And obviously he was built with plenty of talent as well. You know, and obviously big puncher as well. Obviously like yourself. I know obviously Dee's interview last week says there's more to you than punching. So you know, it's probably putting fear in the other fighter as well. They go, he's not just going to try and knock me out. He's going to try different things. You know, I know Dee mentioned last week. He says he believes we've only seen 30% of your talent.
I agree on that 100%. You know, I'm only getting better each and every fight. And I'll always say this, that I didn't box senior, so all my experience, like being international tournaments and stuff, and like entering the seniors, Ulster seniors and stuff, I never got that. Never fought with. First time I fought with a head guard was my debut as a pro. So I had none of that, and only 13 fights in. It's about building experience and camp to camp, getting better from camp to camp and learning just things like making weight as well, what you're eating, sleep, just things in general. You know, my physio and stuff. CM Sports, Kieran does my physio, and Fresh as Daisy Nutrition does my food, and like they're so like key to my like performance, basically, you know, like throughout camp and stuff. So just like having stuff like that, bringing in the camp each different one, makes a difference, and I can go get better and better each fight. I think because I definitely have like another 8 years at least at like a high level, I think, you know, anyway. So next 2 years, I think, learn my craft, still get better and better, and see where it takes me.
Yeah, definitely. It says all them wee fundamentals. Probably sometimes when people turn over, they go, I need strength and conditioning, I need good diet and everything else. And you've built obviously over your time. You know, I know you've obviously been with Ray and with the way things Ray was going with business. You've obviously moved to D now. Then obviously moving the D. Obviously, I know D was there from the start, sort of helping out with Ray. But do you think obviously now under D that probably we're seeing more and more come out of it because Dee's been there and sort of done it himself. So what's he sort of added to your game since you've come to it?
Dee's brilliant. Like Dee'll study, like whoever I'm fighting, or just things, and we'll just keep things that'll work against that opponent, or things that he'll think that I'll do that'll work. We'll just drill them, and then it just becomes like second nature. Do you know what I mean? And it gives me confidence and stuff. And if I disagree with something and say that they'll take it on board and we'll discuss about it. And it's just it's just like respect both ways. He's been a great, phenomenal help inside and outside the ring. And we've had 3 good wins since last year. Like, so, I think we're only going to get better and better each fight, and our relationships, class, good, the whole team, on, potty, the roof, we'll have all the lads here, like, so it's a class team, and hopefully some more big wins during the year.
Yep, definitely. And the thing is, it's one of these things sometimes, like, I remember speaking to him after obviously he won the WBO belt, and I was sort of saying, you're seeing at times where you were sort of trying to exit, where you were making a mistake, and he actually said, we've seen that during the fight, and he said, Lewis, do it again. They set traps, and that, I guess sometimes that shows the level of education he has in the sport. Like what he says, he proclaims he watches 9 hours of boxing a day, which is mental.
I couldn't do it.
No, I don't even think I could. But obviously it shows that, and obviously the more they come, like he wants to be in boxing for a long, long time, and probably using the likes of you and Paddy, Owen and everybody else in the team as your guinea pigs for his future as well. So he's going to do things right, do things wrong, but is moving on for the future as well.
Definitely, and even like the amateurs up here, he's taking, and there's like I'm looking at the kids and I was like, was I that good when I was younger? Because they're class, like, like we Marty McCulloch in here, he's phenomenal. Like Marty is so good. Every time I watch him, I'm like, that kid's so good, like, you know what I mean? And there's just loads of kids coming up in here, and you've got all around Belfast, like look at the many good clubs in Belfast, like Gleon, like Coney Shinny and stuff, and they're all elite. So it's class that like the younger coaches are starting to like take off now. And over the next few years, like Belfast will have champions from all areas. And
I'd say it's only going to be good things.
Yeah, definitely.
Obviously, when you were first starting out, your pro career, you obviously you were built very hype very early on. Well, not say hype, but Carl Frampton obviously giving you great reviews before you even sort of starting out, saying you had massive potential. But the hype that obviously people are building in your career, I know you're not massive on social media. You're not be seen as much obviously posting as others. But how hard is it to obviously try and ignore the hype and obviously just keep yourself grounded?
That's just my job. It's just a box, like, like the outside thing just doesn't really exist to me. Like people will be talking shit to each other or whatever, or like hyping themselves up or promoting themselves, whatever. Like, I have one job. All I have to do is go and win my next fight and just keep. The hype will come. Do you know what I mean? Like success will come if you just keep plugging away and win. Do you know what I mean? Like posting on social media, that's not going to win you fights. Whatever. Do you know what I mean? Like hard work and set up balls wins fights. Like, do you know what I mean?
Yep.
And that's what I bring to the table, and that's what I'll keep continuing to do.
Because you see others, not obviously slating them for a ways, but obviously because they built their brand sort of through time. But like you probably see some of the videos online of Ryan Garcia and things like that, blindfolding things and going, I could do that, but why?
I could do it, but it's just you'd be squandered doing that. Yep. You know what I mean? Like I couldn't be doing that, like having TikToks and all. It's not for me, like.
No, I remember obviously when you were first starting out, I think it was at Belfast Live or something that obviously recorded you throwing, I think it was in Academy 1, throwing a lot of punches in a short time period. But it's not you, it's, there's no point doing something that's fake. What's the sense of people saying, oh, you're an Instagram boxer, you only do your talking in the ring?
Don't get me wrong, like stuff like that is good, like promotional, if like for sponsors and stuff, and like just like the general thing, but I mean, like, winning's the most important thing you can do. Do you know what I mean? Like, you can be as happy as you, but if you're not winning, what's it matter? Like, you know what I mean? You
want people to talk for your talents in the ring rather than outside the ring?
100%. I agree with it.
Definitely is. Would you say, obviously now regular fights are probably now starting to bring out more of, where we're saying we're only seeing 30%, the regular fights you're getting, they're going to bring out more and more and more of what's still to come?
Definitely. I got my first 10 rounder done there. So I'm just feeling like confident, when I can do the 10 rounds and like just taking wee bits from that fight. I know I'm more confident going into my next fight as well. Like Louis Green and the previous guy, Dennis Ilbay, like they've never been dropped. They're two tough guys, like, and I dropped both of them to stop the thing, and the thing was just a animal, like, you know, he was just relentless at that last boy, like, but the drop him and Kavaluskas couldn't hurt him. That's his name.
Yeah,
like,
Kavaluskas.
Yeah, like he couldn't hurt him and stuff, and he was like 4-time youth world champion and experienced guy, and he was game. And I think Jamel Herring got him the fight, didn't he?
Yeah.
So I hope Frampton fixes Jamel Herring this week's fight, so it's a double for the lads. But yeah, you know what I mean? It's just like taking stuff from each camp and bringing them in the next one.
And I know Herring had obviously said that he hoped that obviously Albie done the job, so he hasn't done the job on his part.
He did do the job.
And Frampton's now going to do his job on him.
I can't wait for Frampton to do it. So I can't.
It's 3 days away now, and I know the press conference stuff's tomorrow. They obviously announced today it's in Channel 5 today, which we're probably known for the last week, but for obviously Irish boxing, you know, 3-weight world champion, and it'll be on Freeview TV and stuff as well. It's probably going to break records.
It is, like, it's probably worked out better, so it has, other than anything, you know, Channel 5, like, and everyone's going to watch it as well, you know, everyone's going to tune in. Even talking about it now, it is the most, like, pumped I've been for it, do you know what I mean? Because I haven't really thought about it, because I don't think, like, people knew what way the channels were working and stuff, but yeah, to get it on free TV, like, is class, and it'd be good for kids watching as well, do you know what I mean? Because, like, inspiration wise and stuff, like, coming up, so I'm looking forward to it.
Has Carl sort of taught you any traits or things like that, you know, in boxing, you know, trying to stay grounded? Because obviously he's been talked about for years, his talents, obviously fought world titles all over the place, and like, is there things you can sort of take from, because let's face it, everybody liked about Carl Frampton, you know, and headlining shows all over the world, but is there anything you can sort of take from his career, you know, what, 2009 to present, and still boxing?
Yeah, just the way he handled himself, do you know what I mean? Like Carl's, like, not even for boxing, but like for his country as well. Like, he's just a proper boy, like, do you know what I mean? Like, there's no faults with Carl Frampton at all. He does everything right by the book, boxing, family man, everything. Like, he never did anything wrong. Like, so just like, if you want to like handle yourself away, it'd be the way Carl Frampton would. Do you know what I mean? And to put on the big nights that he has, like, you know, he's beat Santa Cruz and he's beat Quaig, Martinez, who's still fighting and giving people tough fights. Like there's Donaire was pound for pound number one, and like people, like, I think that slips under the radar a bit. So that from beating Donaire, like, because that was it. Like, Donaire's still class. He gave a good fight after that. So yeah, just like Frampton's as high as you can get as an athlete and as a person, you think, and yeah, if you could even have a quarter of the career that he's had, it'd be class. Sometimes
people are, you know, I've read posts and things like that where they're going, oh, Frampton's over the hill, he hasn't looked good in 3 years, and you're sort of going, what fights have you watched that you haven't seen that? You know, his last fight with Darren Trainer in August, he sort of played about for a few rounds to obviously implement things, and then when he did go to work, like them body shots.
They were phenomenal, so they were, and even, like, you probably could have got him out earlier, but it just takes one mistake to get clipped, or you want to get more rounds as well. Do you know what I mean? Like, people making their stupid comments, or it was never boxed before either, like, and they don't know anything, so I wouldn't take anything from them. Like.
Do you sort of notice, obviously, sometimes, you know, the amount of times people will be quick to sort of judge? We've obviously seen it with Sean recently, and stuff as well. People are quick to judge sometimes, and obviously when you make mistakes, but at the end of the day, you as a boxer, you're going in there to do your best. Whether you win or whether you lose, sometimes you're going in to do your best, and sometimes people are fickle, they think that, and you know, if you really lose a fight, or obviously, you know, I know you obviously were hurt. Well, you were hurt by a shot by Albie in the 4th round, but the good thing for Dee and the good thing for you is you've now taken a good punch. Yeah. You've now known what you have to do. You know, covering up, obviously trying not to get hit. You've seen that in the fight now, so at least you know if somebody hits me with a big punch, I know I'm going to survive it. Yeah,
no, 100%. And I said after the video, I was like, I'm glad it happened, because I know what to do now and stuff. And when I watched it back, I did everything right. Do you know what I mean? Like, it wasn't like I was completely out of my feet. Like, I still had power, but he was still worried to come in and stuff, and holding on right and keep my feet right, and came out the next round and it was dead on again. So it was, so yeah. I
actually thought you broke your hand in the 6th round. I think it actually tweeted to say Lewis broke his hand. I think he clipped him in the top of the head, and then for a few rounds you weren't throwing your right hand, and I think at one stage you were holding it funny, and I thought he broke it, and then you doing your thing as you do in the last couple of rounds, you're just like, let's get rid of any energy I have, let's just go for a war.
Yeah, because I felt good, and I think if I was able to box that guy, I think I would have made a tougher night's work for myself, because he just would have kept coming forward, do you know what I mean? So I knew I had to fight this guy to win, and it worked out. So it did. Do you know what I mean? Like sometimes you do. You just gotta get bite down the gum shield and fight. Like that's it. Like people can say like, oh, you did this wrong and you could have did this, but do you know what I mean? You got the win and you did it entertaining style as well, and like I showed grit, like and toughness and heart and fitness as well. Do you know, like the finished off strong like the last few rounds as well, and like some people don't understand like 10 rounds is a lot, and that like when you're throwing big shots, it's thinging. So like I felt great in there. I think I was like through my camp with Dee and Mark Brownie I'm working with S&C and stuff, so I felt great in there, and as I'm saying, I'm looking forward to the next time around there, and then obviously bigger titles down the line in B12, so it'll be interesting to see what happens.
Definitely is, and obviously as we're sort of saying, you know, the stable's packed. You know, you've Paddy obviously probably should have fought the week after you, obviously just with the knee injury. Yeah. Owen's obviously been out in his 5th pro fight. You're 13-0. Connor Quinn's joined the stable as well, and then you have the Rook as well. So the gym's all hard working. You know, it's not that probably Dee's probably look for these in certain ways and going to just want somebody who's hard working, going to do the work. These are all mucking together. Is it good to have a laugh during training as well, or is it just all hard work?
No, you need to have a laugh as well, but you know, we're in the fight game, like, so you either put in the hard work regardless. If you don't, it's you who's going to get hurt in there. So we all understand that anyway, but it's good crack up here, do you know what I mean? But by no means is it just all laughs, you know, there's hard work being done here each and every day. So yeah, and as you say, Connor's in the camp. Connor's lethal, like, you know, I said that day, I was like, Connor will be a world champion, especially at the weight he's at now. Like, Connor will go up and maybe up 1 or 2 weights or whatever, and still win more titles. Like, he's that good and he lives a life. And I'm really looking forward to seeing what Connor's career has and stuff. And
I sort of think sometimes success breeds success. So sort of, you know, you and Paddy, so to speak, have pretty much been teammates the whole way through. So with you sort of leading the way for the team, it's obviously going to help the rest. You know, so I think it's helped bring Owen on quite a lot as well.
Yeah, definitely. Like we all play different parts, I think, in the team. Do you know what I mean? Like, I think Paddy's like the big guy of the group. Do you know what I mean? Like Paddy's like he's the alot basically, and Owen there, like Owen would do anything for you. So would Paddy, any of the lads would. Do you know what I mean? We're all a great bunch of lads. Like it's quality to be in camp. That, you know, there's no envy between anyone. There's not. Because you can definitely see in some other camps or something, you know, that don't want to see each other, or don't want someone else to be better than them.
Yep.
We're in here, it's not like that at all. Do you know what I'm saying? We're all for each other, and if one of us win, we all win. It's like that. So it's got to be something, or be part of something like that.
Definitely, and I think Paddy said before, I think he said Owen was like the father of the group. You know, so everybody's sort of getting roles. You know.
Yeah.
But obviously. So obviously some sort of fights obviously recently that's sort of been in the welterweight division. Did you see the McKinson Congo fight the weekend?
Yeah, I've seen that, yeah. I'm actually glad for McKinson, you know what I mean, because he has been calling out that scene, you know, and he has been getting the recognition that like all them like Mark Hughes and Congo, because they're out here and stuff. So it just goes to show you that there's other people out there, do you know what I mean? And he said in an interview as well, like he gave my name out a shout and says, because like we're not getting the publicity that the others are getting, and we're just as good, if not better, than these other guys as well. So it's good to see that someone from MPK as well, not from Hearn, got the win, and is now, you know, I mean, he probably gets signed up by Hearn, I'd say.
Yeah, probably. I think he said winner stays on, so he's wanting one, and obviously now he stays on. Obviously, Conor Ben fighting next weekend as well. You've sort of been vocal on him for the last couple of years and saying for a fight, but you know as well as anybody else that fight won't happen because you're too big of a risk for him. I know it's obviously a fight with Vargas next week, but you're too much of a risk domestically for him that he'd rather probably lose sort of fringe world title level and things like that before. But it is something you've been vocal on in the past and saying, give me him. Because some of your friends actually followed Conor Ben's career more than they actually followed your own.
Aye, definitely. I think the fights, if we all keep winning, we're going to have to fight regardless anyway, do you know what I mean? But there's no point calling each other right now and whatever, because it's stupid, it's childish, like, because as you say, it's not going to happen. Do you know what I mean? Like, why would Conor Ben fight me unless it was for massive money? Do you know what I'm saying? He's fighting these other boys, and like he should. Do you know what I mean? Like, if I was his promoter, I'd be doing the same. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm not saying he's knocking again if he beat me, because obviously, like, domestically or whatever, but I mean, like, he could beat better names as such. Yeah. And get better paydays and better rankings maybe. So, do you know what I mean? Conor Ben's only 24 as well. Do you know what I mean? Like, we're the young ones out all these, like, so to say, like in the top 15. So I think we keep winning. We're the ones who'll break out.
Yeah, definitely. That's something to look forward to in the future.
Yeah.
Do you see the Josh Kelly Evan Easton fight as well?
Yeah.
What did you think of it?
I still think Josh Kelly's class. Do you know what I mean? I still think he's really good. Evan Easton's just relentless, so he was doing. He was very
Absolute
good.
bull.
Just I think experience over anything. I think showed there. I think from me looking at it, I think just Kelly was like putting too much into his shots so early for being at 12 rounds, and Evan Easton just kept up like the same tempo, and I think it showed as well. Do you know what I mean? But I think if they fought again, I don't know if it goes that way again. I think it's a lot harder fight for Evan Easton, but you know, like, just goes to show you, like, the guy Kavalauskas stopped Evan Easton, there's Evan Easton stopped Kelly. Do you know what I mean? It just takes like a year of like progression in your career and stuff, and you don't know, like, everyone's beating each other, you know, it's boxing, like, so exciting times ahead.
One I also mentioned your other love of in sport, UFC. Obviously, I know you'll sit up all hours watching UFC at night time. I think, is it John Jones is probably your favourite UFC fighter?
UFC fighter. Right now, I like Masvidal, so I do. Like, it used to be Cormier. It used to be Cormier and Jones had the thing where I always like Cormier, but Jones beat him twice. But he's on the juice, like, so it doesn't count.
It definitely doesn't. And obviously, would you picture yourself getting into the octagon at some stage in the future?
100%. Like, I've always wanted to do it. Just anytime, like, I wanted to, like, do it. I'm have a fight coming up or something, then I'm scared of getting hurt. But 110% I'll do MMA in the next few years, probably. Like, you know what I mean? Even if it's just like starting to do like a bit of BJJ or something, like, you know, the thing, and then a bit of Muay Thai. But definitely, like, MMA, I want to do 100%. Like, I want to fight MMA, like, and it's definitely something I will do. It's
a sport sometimes. I know I was been involved in boxing, it's such brutal, but like, if I was to sit there in the house and watch it and seeing people getting punched in the face and the ground, and it's nearly past the stage of going, right, what are you in the sport for? You and you see the blood and guts, you and you see it for an art, and at times you're sort of going, crikey, like, you see somebody, I can't remember, somebody's head was split open from last year, hit by a knee, and it was literally as if somebody just stabbed him with a sword. You know, it was brutal.
But like, and I think you get more damage during boxing because you have the heavier gloves on, so you're taking more damage. You can take more, but it's just constant. Where like, if you have 4-inch gloves on, you get hit and you're out and it's done, or you get topped out, whatever. Like, some people don't understand where if you're like if you just keep like blocking punches and stuff, like, you sit picture your spawn, you're taking punches, like, all right, you're not getting like hurt as such, but you're still taking punches. Like, that takes a toll. Do you know what I mean? Like, through the thing, and I think like people who are in tough fights, like 10 round, 12 round wars, they're just blocking punches. Like, that does, like, it takes years of your life away, I think. Do you know what I mean? And I think it shows for a lot of people as well. So I think boxing is just as dangerous, if not more, than MMA. Like.
And have you any sort of fighters in the UFC you'd love to sort of fight in the future? I know it's no bit of time you never get in the UFC, but would it be somebody you know that you'd actually have an actual war with?
Guess McGregor. I'll take McGregor. So
that'd be nice.
As long as he don't kick me, like, you know what I mean?
Punches only. I don't think he likes the kicks. Obviously,
I don't think anyone likes kicks, you know what I mean? Them kicks look nasty, so they do. Nah, I wouldn't be a fan of them. I'm saying I would love to do MMA. Someone kicked that fucking shit at me, like, I'd be crying. So
just punch me, just punches only.
I'll be for a dick, so.
You know, nearly like an exhibition sort of thing where it's just like punches only, you know, in the octagon, you know. But I'm sure you'd hold your own. Obviously, you've plenty of power. Obviously,
no, I would learn, like, you know what I mean? Because I think I would take it like a sponge, you know, and thing. But yeah, it's something I would love to do anyway.
Like 4-inch gloves as well.
It's broken hands, that's all I hear. So but nah, 4-inch gloves would be class, and it'd be class. I've tried them all before, like, it's ridiculous. Even see from the difference between 8 ounce to 10 ounce, because fighting for a title, I'm an 8 ounce. It's mad. Every time I put them on, I feel them, and I'm like, do you know what I mean? Like, I'm getting hit with these as well, but I mean, there's nothing in these, like.
Just keep 10% off your power, just so you don't obviously break your hands. What would you obviously sort of hope that the future holds for you? Obviously in boxing, obviously the aim is still to become a world champion.
Yeah, I'd like to win the British title this year, so I would more than anything remain undefeated. Obviously this year, win the British title. Just sort of build my ranking. This is for this year anyway, but obviously the end goal is the world title, and I think all you have to do is stay about. You know what I mean? Like, keep active, with a bit of luck, you know what I'm saying? That's all it takes. You just need to be there and about to get the opportunity, and then one fight, one punch can change your life, and that's it.
But you like to go down, obviously I know the British and Commonwealth title pretty much comes together at the moment, but would you like to go down the old traditional route of British, European, then on the World Honours? Just whatever happens?
I mean, whatever happens, like, do you know what I mean? It's not like, I want to win Commonwealth, the European thing. I would like to win the British, don't get me wrong, like, but whatever British and World, that's like sort of the thing. Yeah, don't get me wrong, like, I would love to win the Commonwealth and European, but I think the British is in my sights. The British is like at the start title that I want now, and then the World's at the end. So anything in between is just sort of
add a bonus.
Yeah.
And obviously the good to get the revenge for Paddy Gall, obviously robbed in the field.
That's every time I talk about, like, Paddy Gall should be British champion. He should have been, like, and it's just a shame, like, because, you know, he had a lot of tough fights, like like a lot of good wins, obviously. But he's like the split decision stuff in America against the Solomon guy won it and stuff, and then he dropped him, and then he should have beat Jenkins that time in Windsor Park, like. So yeah, but I would love to win the British. So I didn't know the 18 years thing. So I didn't know that. So
definitely just put something in your head. It's now more of a mark, and probably the best belt in boxing as well. You know, it's like many belts nowadays look as good as that.
Yeah, no, that's true. Like, yeah, it's a really nice belt, isn't it? Yeah, Kachi has it.
Yeah,
who holds it
Kachi
now
has
in Belfast? Kachi.
Just Kachi.
Is it just Kachi?
Yeah.
Yeah, really nice belt. So it is.
Definitely is, and obviously, hopefully, I say it's a belt that sometimes gets forgotten. You know, obviously, you've so many European type of belts now where people go, and once you get in the European rankings, then it's sometimes going, does it seem to go back? Still to go back to British level and what people will think, you know. But definitely, it's a belt that anybody sort of wants to win, because, like, I think even if you defend, you know, you get so much for winning it, and then you get actually more for defending it, but again then as well, you know. Obviously, there's been plenty of fighters who've obviously fought for it and not won it. But obviously it's nice to be the winner. One obviously last thing I want to touch on is obviously the importance obviously for sponsorship. We're obviously in bad times with the pandemic and things like that. You know, I know Wade Owen obviously had to go to Luxembourg and had to rely on sponsorship so much, but how important is it for sponsorship obviously in this sport to help you achieve your dreams?
That's what I'm saying, like, without I appreciate all my sponsors as well. I just want to get that out there, because, like, during the pandemic and whatever, like, I don't work, so sponsorship keeps me basically keeps me ticking over until you know, like, a fight, and it's everything. Without sponsorships, like, you would have to get a job. Like, I would have to work. Well, I would have had to work anyway if I wasn't getting sponsorships and stuff. So sponsorships is key for any boxer and anyone's, like, progression as an athlete and success. So yeah, I appreciate anyone who ever comes on board as a sponsor and stuff, and yeah, thank you. Definitely,
and there's obviously probably more, you know, there's room for more sponsorship, but obviously somebody wants to get behind it.
Oh, well, if anyone wants to give sponsor anything, yeah, give me a shout. Those Crocker one.
Join Viva la Croc.
Viva la Croc.
Definitely. But look, Lewis, obviously we want to thank you. Obviously I know it's been sort of taking us a while to get there, but obviously finally we've done so. I know obviously you're starting back, sort of keeping yourself busy, obviously training and stuff like that, so hopefully it's not too long before we have you back in the ring.
Hopefully not, mate. Yeah, hopefully June, July maybe. So yeah, it's not too far away. Keep taking over until then.
Definitely. Well, listen, thanks for obviously catching up with us. Hopefully speak to you soon.
Yeah, cheers, mate. Thank you.